Hey, everyone. I am back. It's Dr. Hammond here with your mental health moment. I hope that you've had a great week. For those of you who tune in every single Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern, welcome back. It's Dr. Hammond here with your mental health moment. For those of you who are brand new to Mental Health Moment, welcome, welcome. It's Dr. Hammond here. We are here live every Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern, right here on Black Women Empowered Incorporated Facebook page, YouTube, and LinkedIn Live. And for those of you who are watching the replay on Dr. Nikisha Hammond YouTube page, be sure to like this video, share this video, and subscribe to the page. So, hey everyone, Dr. Hammond here. Thanks so much for joining here with today's mental health moment. Before we or I do to share today's mental health moment, I did want to share a couple quick announcements with you all. And thanks for those who are starting to join here. Actually, also let me know where you're tuning in from in the chat. Hopefully you don't hear all that background noise. Okay. Let me know where you're tuning in from in the chat. I reside in the Tampa Bay area of Florida. Today I am in, I believe the city's called Wakefield, Massachusetts, which is kind of close to Boston. So I'm up north in the cold. For those of you who know me, you know that I prefer my nice, warm, sunny Florida weather, but it's all good. I see traces of snow, but it's not actively snowing, so I can tolerate the slightly cooler weather here, so it's all good. But again, let me know where you're tuning in from in the chat. Dr. Hammond here with your mental health moment. Hopefully, I will be able to see the chat today. I never know what technology is going to do. Before we get started, I'm going to share, or actually for those of you who are brand new, Mental Health Moment is all about how do you work on becoming the best version of who you are so you can show up powerfully for yourself and for the people around you. So each week we're going over different tips, different things you can try, just to add to your wellness toolkit, if you will, because there's a lot going on in the world. Hi, thanks so much for joining here. Let me know where you're tuning in from in the chat. And that's what Mental Health Moment is all about, right? So I did want to share a couple of quick announcements. One is that, which I'm going to actually share in today's Mental Health Moment, but for those of you who may have been at the Intersection event, which is this past weekend, thanks so much for coming out there, which was in Tampa. Hi from Virginia. Thanks so much for joining here. Dr. Hammond here with your Mental Health Moment. And then I have another very exciting announcement. So for those of you who are not new to Mental Health Moment, you know I've been preaching for many years about really taking a minute. I call it take a minute for yourself. For those of you who follow me on Instagram, you know from my highlight, one of those like highlights that you can click on the main page, I have done hashtag take a minute for years. I think this is like year 7, like just different places that I've traveled throughout the world, just taking a quick shot, just as a reminder, well, to myself and all of us to take our 60 seconds, wherever that may be. It could be in your house, it could be at work, it could be whatever. 60 seconds for you, right? So I've been preaching that for a while. So on Amazon this last week, yes. So I published a new, I'll call it a book, but I'll explain what it is. It is called Take a Minute. And it's on Amazon. You can search for it there, but it literally is, I try to make that one as easy as possible. So it's not really a long book for you to read. For those of you who are like, oh, I don't like to read, it's literally one prompt. It's by the day, right? So whenever you're watching this, if you're watching this in March live or, whatever month it is, you literally go to, it's like a devotional, but you go to the date in the book. It's an ebook, make it easy. And it's literally one sentence, you all. So one prompt for you to do, suggestions for you to do to take your 60 seconds for you, right? Because some of you might be like, what do I do today? Or what do I do? Like there's 365 things for you to do in there. But again, it's each day for those of you who need that reset. I talk a lot about mindset training. Some of you have read some of my books on mindset training, but this newest one is about taking a minute. I sincerely hope for each and every one of you that at a minimum, you're taking that time for yourself. It can be very life-changing for a lot of us when we incorporate the self-care that we so desperately need, right? So again, it's called Take a Minute. It is on Amazon. There, like I said, 365 short, literally a sentence a day, right? You go to the date and you see what it is and you do it, and it takes 60 seconds or less, right? So different prompts. So So enjoy that in ebook format, like I said. So something quick you can keep on your phone or whatever device you use, Kindle or whatever device you use. Let me see who's joining here. South Carolina's in the house. Welcome. New Jersey's in the house. California, St. Louis. I also do mental health moments. This is great. I love it. From Virginia. Welcome. So again, so that was yeah, that was my announcement for today. And I did want to share before I start today's mental health moment. I need to share with you all what happened to me this past weekend, which relates to today's mental health moment. But so those of you who knew about this, well, anyways, a couple days ago, literally Sunday was an event that I was supposed to speak at on a panel in Tampa. Right, I was on a work project in Columbia, South Carolina. So, you all, the event is on Sunday afternoon. I, booked the flight was booked for a 5:30 a.m. flight, which for those of you who don't know me, not really a morning person, but it's all good, right? I do what I have to do. So it was a 5:30 a.m. flight on Sunday that I was supposed to catch, which had a connection flight through Atlanta to get to Tampa. I could go home, I could get ready, all the things, right? Well, Saturday night, which is the night before the panel, I get a notification that my 5:30 a.m. flight is canceled. Um, which I'm not going to lie you all. It sort of sent me into a panic mode because I'm like, man, I really, really wanted to be a part of this event. It's a dear, amazing friend of mine who was hosting, and I get so excited about being a part of community events. This is my local community, Tampa. Like I was just like, seriously, right? So again, I'm like getting ready for bed. Like I had just set my alarm for like 3 a.m. Like I was ready, right, for this 5:30 a.m. flight. Nonetheless, canceled. And then I get this text that's like, due to crew members not showing up to work or something like that. I'm like, really, people? So anyway, so I tried to do some alternatives on Saturday, calling a rental car and doing all these things. Long story short, it didn't work out. So I was like, okay, now I got to take the later flight. So I was rebooked to the later flight, but that later flight meant I had a extremely small window to actually get to the place where I was supposed to be at, right, to be a part of the panel. And so I get to Columbia Airport again on the later flight, and I'm not gonna lie, like I said, you all know, if you're not new to mental health moment, this is what I preach to all: mental resilience and stress management and taking care of ourselves. And I was like, man, I had to like try to work on shifting my mindset. Hey, Albany, Georgia, welcome. I had to work on shifting my own mindset, you all, because I was very stressed out because I was thinking, I was like, okay, what if this flight's delayed and then I got to catch a connection flight? Like all these things, right, start going through your head. And so I was like, you know what? Let me try to just walk through the airport for my own sanity. Actually, they had some rocking chairs there, which I was like, okay, let me sit down for a second. Then I was like, no, let me just walk around because I got to get this energy out, right? And so I stumbled on, if anyone of you is from Columbia, South Carolina, or has traveled through that airport, I'll have you know, I was very excited because they had an interfaith meditation room there, right? So, and I didn't know that was there. I was just trying to walk around. And so I entered this room. It's a very small space. It had one of those like sound machines. It was so quiet in there. You had like the calming sound. They had some yoga mats. They had some prayer mats. They had like a Bible, devotional, Quran, like all sorts of, different things if you wanted to read, floor pillow. Like I'm just painting the picture of this nice, serene room. And I was like, thank you, Lord, because I really needed that. Right. And so I spent like 20 minutes in there. You all, kid you not, I sat on they had these little floor pillows. And for me, not trying to convert anybody to anything here on mental health moment, but for me, I, kind of said some prayers. I was like, let me try to let this stress go and let me try to reset my own nervous system because first of all, that's part of today's mental health moment. But hey, thanks so much for joining, y'all. But your energy is very contagious. Okay. So if I'm stressed out, overwhelmed, nervous system all out of whack, and I'm going on a panel to speak about mental wellness and burnout prevention, you can't, like, it wouldn't be helpful to the people in the room, right? For me to be all stressed out. And I'm talking about stress management. So nonetheless, I was in there, like I said, in that room for like 20 minutes. And I really, like, my mind and body just got to a calm place. And I really got to the mental part where I was like, you know what? I am doing the best I can. Some of this is outside of my control, right? Like it's a flight. I can't control if the pilot's going to show up, the flight attendant showing up. if there's going to be weather, if I'm not going to catch my connection. I can't control any of that, right? So I got back into, kind of a calmer state of mind. I was like, let me just focus on what I can control, which was my reaction to all this. And so I'm happy to report though, I did end up catching my connection flight. It was on time, thank the Lord. And I was, well, fast forward, able to get to where I needed to get to. I had like 10, 15 minutes to spare, y'all. By the time I walked into by the time I walked into the venue, and I had planned to be there hours before. I wanted to, be a part of the event and whatnot. But I share all this with you all because on today's mental health moment, I really want to encourage you today to understand that you will be in plenty of stressful situations that are outside of your control. And it's really important for you to work on getting to resetting yourself, to work on getting into a calmer state of mind and body. Right. So I'm gonna give you a couple of tips today to do with to sort of deal with that. Pajaro, California's in the house. Welcome. Montreal's in the house. Welcome, welcome. Um, okay, yes. Take a Minute is the name of the book for those of you tuning in. Take a Minute. It's on Amazon. That's the new ebook that I'm just sharing with like different, like there's 365 things to do. You just go scroll to the date. It's like, here, do this thing. It takes 60 seconds or less. Again, working on resetting and recharging ourselves. But anyway, so today's mental health moment. Number one is making sure. So again, if you're just tuning in, Dr. Hammond here with your mental health moment. I was just sharing the craziness of a canceled flight, which I did not expect on a day when I was supposed to be at a speaking event, it's very stressful. Let me tell you. But though, I had to be intentional about resetting myself through that. And so it doesn't have to be a canceled flight for you, obviously, but whatever it is for you in your life, things pop up, right, that we don't expect. How do you work on getting into a calmer state of mind? So the first thing is really to understand there is a mind-body connection. So when you work on pausing your body, also it can help you to reset your mind. And it was so amazing when I was in that room, and I was in that, the interfaith meditation room that I was telling you about at the airport. I mean, it's something I teach to others well, and I practice it myself, but I really did. Like when I was sitting on the floor pillow, I was like, let me get my breathing back on track. Let me take my deep breaths. Let me try to really, I was very intentional about regulating my nervous system again because I was stressed out, y'all. I was like, are you serious? I was like, I do not want to miss this event. And I'm so glad I didn't miss it. It was an amazing event, by the way. For those of you who came, you already knew, but incredible event hosted by the amazing Melissa L. Atkinson. But nonetheless, it's something that I want you to really, really be intentional about. The other thing, let me pause here before I go to the other two tips, but don't wait until you're in a stressful situation to be like, oh, okay, let me use this tool out my toolbox. And now let me try to reset my mind and body. Like, don't only do that. You don't have to be in the most stressful, like so stressed out. And it's like, okay, now, right, I'm going to reset my body. Like you don't have to do that. You can be in maintenance mode too for you and be like, you know what, I'm having a good day. And still you're allowed to take your deep breaths. You're allowed to get into a calmer state of mind, whether good day or bad day. Like that should be just a pattern, a habit, right, that you start to include in your life. Someone said, Columbia, South Carolina. I'm truly glad we were able to provide such a beautiful and safe place. Oh, welcome. Oh, that's so cool that someone is here from Columbia, South Carolina. Yes. So yes, your airport was so beautiful. There was actually, well, I can't read it because it's super long, but there was this, I don't know, just encouraging words. Like the room was so beautiful and it was unexpected. And there was just this plaque, right, of this like encouraging words. And it's like, if you're feeling, work on getting to a calmer state, or if you're anxious right now, or I think it said if you're going through grief or if you're sad, like there was all these things, and it's like, here, do this instead, and just very calm, soothing space. So yes, thank you. I'm glad you were able to provide that too. New York's in the house. Welcome, welcome. Dr. Hammond here with your mental health moment. Today we're talking about how to really think about getting into a calm space, especially in high pressure situations, right? The second tip I want to share with you today is that, so again, I shared what happened to me and how, thankfully, thank you, Lord, I found a by accident. Well, anyways, I believe in an accident, but I stumbled upon this really serene, calm physical space. But you may or may not have that when you're in said high pressure situation. Maybe you're at work, maybe you're out of town, or maybe you're somewhere else where you can't go to your, calm place. But I do want to remind you all that you have this, right? You have your brain. Like, you can work on getting into a mentally calm state, right? So whether for you, whatever your like calm places. So for some of you, it's a beach. For some of you, it's mountains. For some of you, it's a lake, it's a river. It's just like a positive experience. Like, what is it for you? And but you can even put it in the comments today, but what is it for you when you think about this memory, or maybe it's a place, or this I don't know, sunset, sunrise. Like, what is it for you that, like, if you were just to really kind of visualize and focus on it, that it would bring you into a calmer place, right? Because again, not we don't always have physical spaces we can go into, but we can create those calming spaces mentally, right? Like, you're allowed to do that, but it takes you, again, we talk a lot. I feel like that's like the word of this year about being intentional, right? We talk a lot about being intentional about it. You really have to be intentional about it. But again, like I said, let me know in the comments what what is it for you. So for me, one of the places, um for those of you who've tuned in for mental health mode for a long time, you know that I love, there's this beach in Bali. It's called Jimbaran Beach, and it's my favorite beach in like all my travels, like in the whole world. Like, I just love that place because it I don't know, it's something special about the energy there, and it just brings me to the happiest place. And like, it just feels it just feels so like calm. And so that, to me, like, if I am not in the Columbia, South Carolina airport in my meditation room, that's a very calming, beautiful, joyous memory for me that I can go back to, right? Or maybe I might, well, actually, it's literally like Bali's like on my phone, my screensaver on my phone. So I just have to look at my phone. But maybe if it's for you, you want to look at something in your phone. Maybe it's a memory, maybe it's a person that brings you joy, like whatever it is, like going back to that space to like get yourself into a calmer place. Like, this is a real thing. This is a real practice that's important. And what's so funny, you all, is that watching from Brooklyn, New York, welcome. Mississippi's in the house. Welcome, welcome. North Carolina, welcome. Thanks so much for joining here. What's so interesting is that I feel like we teach kids how to do this, right? So in my gosh, in my work, I do a lot of different things in the mental health space, but and a part of the work I've done and like seen even with kids, right? Like, we teach them how to like self-soothe, or you might be like, hey, you need to calm down or practice these breathing skills, or whatever it is. Like, we try to teach that to kids, but then like we forget sometimes as an adult, we need our own time out sometimes too, right? Like, you have to be like, okay, hold up. Let me take my own adult time out, and not from a place of punishment, but just as a place of like, oh, like, let me get into like my safer mental space real quick, right? Like, let me work on calming my heart rate down. Let me work on reducing my blood pressure. Let me work on like just feeling calmer in my body, which triggers you also feeling calmer mentally, right? Like, that's a real practice to start to think about. Oh, someone said ocean view. I love that. I love that. Yes, I love the ocean too. Um, but again, so and there's really no right or wrong. Like I said, when you think about for you mentally, wherever that place is, or the person is, or the memory is, or wherever that joy is, like, there's not a right or wrong. It's just for you, what is it that you can come back to mentally that really can help you to shift your mindset and get back into a calmer place, right? Um, and thanks for those who are starting to join here. Dr. Hammond here with your mental health moment. I'm going to share the last tip with you, which is really important. But before I share the last tip, I do want to, just pause for a second and just remind each and every one of you that this is absolutely positively a process. You all, don't beat yourself up. I have always said that on mental health moment, but don't, sometimes when you start new habits, or you incorporate new wellness techniques for you, then you look back and like, man, why would I do that? Or you come from a place of judgment for yourself, or self-blame, or guilt, or all those things, right? So So hopefully, as you make these positive changes for you, you don't come from that place though. Instead, you come from a place of celebration. We talk a lot about mental health moment for those of you who are new. You come from a place of celebration. You come from a place of, yep, now I know these things. Let me work on, doing said things, right? And sometimes it's just not enough for you to do this on your own, which is okay. You may need the help of a mental health professional. You may need the help of a coach. It may be a friend. It may be someone else that can help you get through whatever it is you're getting through. It is okay to get help from whomever you need the help from. It's okay. Okay. Someone said, I use deep breathing for relaxation and to clear my thoughts. I love that. Let me tell you, deep breathing it is so underrated. It is so underutilized. I'm like, it's free, you all. Free, like free. What do they say? I don't know, free 99 or whatever they say. Like it's like literally free for you to do your own deep breathing, which has so many health benefits. But we take for granted because we're breathing all the time. We take that for granted a lot of times to get into a place of silence, to get into a place to reset, recharge, to just take a couple of extra deep breaths and get back into a calmer state. We really take that for granted, you all. Remember, it's free. It's free to do your deep breathing. So yeah, I appreciate you bringing that up. I love that. Okay, so last tip of the day, you all. So the other thing that I want you to think about when you think about, again, like trying to get into a calmer state, especially if maybe you have something come up, maybe, for those of you working, you have a meeting coming up or just something where it's going to be stressful, right? Like we're in stressful situation. Maybe you have to have a stressful conversation with someone like those times. It's really important also to be intentional about protecting your own energy, but also thinking about how to shift your energy so that that interaction, again, whether it's in a workplace with a friend, family member, wherever it is, like you can bring a calmer version of yourself into those conversations or that meeting or that speech or whatever it is that you have, right? So again, understand that energy is contagious, like I was saying before, and like I shared for those of you who are here at the beginning, how I really was intentional too when I was in that room to get back into a calmer state when I had my cancel flight, because I did not want to walk into a room full of people with like a whole bunch of stress type of energy. I mean, what is that like? If I'm so stressed out and I'm right, and then I walk into a room full of people, people feel that, right? Haven't you ever felt before like someone that's really stressed out or they're really angry or whatever they're going through? Like you kind of feel that sometimes, right? Like you can. It's like I said, it's contagious. You feel that sometimes. I'm like, well, I sure do not want to walk into someone else's event. You know what I mean? Like overly stressed out and bummed out. Like I have to work on resetting myself, right? So those are the thoughts I was thinking of. And again, for you, I really want you to remember that before you go into said situations, especially stressful situations. Think about, hold up, how do I reset myself, right? Like what is it that you need to do? Is it I mean, there's a lot of ways to reset yourself, but is it like taking some deep breaths? Someone mentioned that before. Is it listening to music that brings you into a calmer state of mind? Is it taking a quick walk outside? What is it for you that you need to do to just get back into a calmer state for your own sake and for your own health, but also understanding that you can show up as a better version of yourself when you're in that situation with others too, right? Um, because when you show up and you are uh, grounded, for lack of a better word, like you're calm, that is also contagious too. So right, haven't you all ever, if you've encountered someone and they're positive and they feel grounded and you're having a conversation, you're like, man, I have some good energy, like I feel good being around this person, right? Like you can feel that too. It goes both ways. So not only if you're stressed out, angry, overwhelmed and all that is contagious to others, but also the positivity is too, right? So again, when we think about who are you bringing to the table here in these conversations and these high pressured situations and these stressful moments, right? We want to work on bringing our best self there, right? But again, thanks for those who are starting to join here. Dr. Hammond here with your mental health moment. So So, excuse me. So, I want to remind you as I wrap up today's mental health moment, I want to remind you that you will not, as I mentioned at the beginning of this live, you will not always have spaces where there's just, I don't know, interfaith meditation room, right? A physical, beautiful physical space that exists for you to go into and get back into a calmer state, obviously. But you can always make the choice to reset mentally. You just have to be more intentional about it. You have to say, okay, you know what? I deserve, because you do, I deserve to be emotionally healthy. I deserve to be happy. I deserve to have joy. I deserve to bring the best version of myself into these situations. So, knowing that, let me work on resetting myself. Let me work on getting into a mental space. And let me put an asterisk on this real quick. Getting into a mental space does not mean that you're just minimizing all your problems and like poof, we just think about, being on a beach somewhere and all our problems go away. Of course not. But it does mean that you are intentional about working on resetting yourself where you can feel healthier, where you can feel calmer, where you can perform better. Like I said, maybe it's at work, maybe it's just conversations with friends, family members, and bring the best version of yourself into those situations, right? We all have problems, y'all. We still have to process our life. We still have to feel some strong, sometimes it's negative emotions, sometimes it's happy emotions, all the things. Like that's there. There's other ways to cope with all of that, but and also one of the ways to do that is to again really be intentional about your mental wellness, well, because you deserve it. Um, and and like I said, it's helpful for other people too. So it's never selfish. We talk about that a lot. It's never selfish here. Okay, so I'm gonna wrap up today's mental health moment. What else do I have to tell you all? I don't even no, I was trying to remember where I'll be at coming up here, but I think that's a private event. Okay, never mind. Well, when I do have an event that's open to the public, a speaking event open to the public, I would definitely let you know. Sometimes or oftentimes now they are with companies and different corporations, organizations where they're private events. So I apologize that I can't always invite you all, but when it is open to the public, I will definitely let you all know where it is at in the country. And I hope to see and meet some of you all this year. Watching from Northern California, welcome. Someone said great advice. You're absolutely welcome. So I'll let you know that as well. Again, you can head to Amazon and look for the Take a Minute book, ebook, I should say, and also not a book where you have to read a couple hundred pages. I have plenty of those on there, but this one is a quick, like I said, just kind of thumb through, go to the date that's on there, find the thing to do, 60 seconds or less, work on transforming your life. Because sometimes it's the little things that really, really make the biggest impact for you. We try so hard sometimes to do these huge, like massive things that are important too, but it's a little baby steps sometimes that really, really can be life changing for us. So that's all the announcements I have today. But I will see you all next week. Have an amazing rest of your week. Be well. You're welcome. Be well. Take care of yourselves. And I'll see you back next Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern, right here live on Black Women Empowered Incorporated Facebook page, YouTube, and LinkedIn Live. Be blessed. And I'll see you guys next week. Bye, guys.